Hey guys, what's up? Gray here, and welcome back to MonoGame. In this video, I'll show you how to add random power-ups that spawn on a timer, as well as how to add and calculate score. Once this is added, you can introduce boost pads or any kind of extra add-ons that your player can interact with in your game. So the first thing we're going to want to do is add a new class in Sprites. We'll call this power-up. Power-up. Alright, now in this power-up class, we're going to want a few fields. We'll do private list, sprite, sprites, that's semicolon, and then we'll have a timer, so private float timer, and we'll also want to add a private texture. It would be 2D, and we'll do a power up texture. Oh, private. And we're also going to do a public static random. And that is basically all that we need there. Let's just space this out a bit. And what's wrong with this? Texture 2D. Oh yeah, we should probably pull these over. There we go. Alright, and now we can create a new class under models, and we will call it score. There we go. So let's put that there as well. And generic, yep. Okay. So models, we're gonna have class score. We'll have a public string player name, get set, and public int value. Get set. We can also create a score manager. Add this one. Generic. Alright, in this one we're going to have a private static string, and we'll call it file name. Equals scores.xml. There we go. And public list scores high score. And we'll do a get and private set. And we're going to do a list of scores, so public list score, and we'll do scores, get private set. There we go. And now we'll do public score manager, parentheses, this new list score. That's supposed to be list. This new list score. Oh, you have brackets there. Well, let's continue on public score manager list score, and it'll be called scores. Do scores equals scores, and update high scores. So now we have public void add score. So in add we'll do scores dot add score, and we'll do scores equals scores dot order by descending. Say equals greater than or equals c dot value dot to list. And update high score. We also have score manager. We do public static score manager load. Here we'll do an if statement. If file does not exist, there we go. Return new score manager. Using stream reader new file stream score file name. Equals new. Var scores equals list score serializer dot serialize reader. And then we'll do return new score manager scores. I'm going to do a public void update high scores. And in update high scores, we do high scores equals scores dot take 10 dot to list. Close, there we go. And then we have public static void save score manager. do using var reader equals new stream writer new file stream file name file mode dot create with a var serializer dot serializer equals new XML serializer type of list score serializer dot serialize the reader and score manager dot scores. This should just be file. If file dot exists. There we go. Now that's working. Save it and we'll go into game 1. We are in game 1, so now I'm just going to add the texture for the power up. So we'll do var texture equals content dot load texture 2D and we'll do power up there we go. And then we have to do score manager score manager dot load. There we go. Now in the update, we're gonna make a timer. So say timer plus equals float game time dot elapse game time dot total seconds. Say for each variable sprite in sprites. I can spell sprites to array it is underscore. So yeah, up here at the top we have to say private float timer. So now this timer part should work. To array sprite dot update game time sprites, and post update. And we'll also do a spawn power up. So now spawn power up is going to be here. And we'll say private void spawn power up. In spawn power up, we're going to say if the timer is greater than 1, then timer equals 0. Variable x position equals random dot next 0 screen width. So this is where it's spawning it, minus the power up texture dot width. So this is so it doesn't get cut off the screen. And semicolon. Then we'll do variable y position so that it does the other half of the shape or power up that we use. 0 screen height. Yep, there we go. Minus power up texture dot height. Okay, we'll get to that soon. We also need a public static random. There we go. Alright, perfect. So the random should be working, and we'll get to that in a second. Let's do... This is what adds them to the sprite lists. Underscore sprites dot add new sprite. Power up texture. There we go. We'll do that. Do position equals new vector 2. We'll do x position and y position. Do a comma. After this, we have to do close. Okay, actually at the top, let's also say we need a private texture 2D, and we'll call it power up texture. Where is it? Where do we load it? Var. So yeah, here we just say power up texture equals. Open the MonoGame pipeline. Okay, so we're going to select the content, and then we're going to right click, add existing item, power up, build, rebuild, save. Okay, now it should be loaded into the content here. We're going to hit play. We have to import score manager up here. Private score manager. Score manager. Now that we have our post update working, we just need to get the collision area, which is in sprite. So if we go down to sprite and we can just make it right under here, under rectangle, we'll do public rectangle collision area say get return new rectangle dot y rectangle dot x, sorry, y x math dot helper dot max rectangle width dot width, comma rectangle dot height, math helper dot max rectangle dot width, comma rectangle dot height. There we go. Perfect. So that should be working. We should have no more errors now. Alright, so the last thing we have to do is make an intersex method. So we'll go back into Sprite. We can do it right above clone. We'll say public bool intersex. And we'll do sprite. And we'll say if this dot texture data equals null, we'll just return false. If sprite dot texture data texture is capital equals null, return false. I need a semicolon. And we'll say var transform A to B equals this dot transform times matrix dot convert sprite dot transform. Then we can do var step x equals vector2 dot transform normal, do vector2 dot unit x, comma transform A to B. Alright, and then we'll do var step y equals the same thing except for y. Transform y. Now we will say var y position in B equals vector2 dot transform vector2 dot 0 transform A to B. we go. Semicolon. Now we're going to do some stuff with the height and the width. So we're going to say for int ya equals 0. Ya is less than this. Dot rectangle dot height. Ya plus plus. And this will start at the beginning of the row. So variable position in B equals y position in B. And we'll say for int x a equals 0. X a is less than this dot rectangle dot width. Semicolon xa plus plus. Alright. So inside here we can round to the nearest pixel, so variable xb equals int math dot round do pause in b dot x, and then we need yb. Y. There we go. And then I need to say if 0 is less than or equal to xb and xb is less than sprite dot rectangle dot width and 0 is less than or equal to yb and yb is less than sprite dot rectangle dot height. And we'll say get the colors of the overlapping pixels, so variable color a equals this dot texture data xa plus ya times this dot rectangle dot width variable color b equals sprite dot texture data xb plus yb times sprite dot rectangle dot width. So if both pixels are not completely transparent, we can say if color a dot a is not equal to 0 and color b dot a is not equal 0, return true. Okay, perfect. So now here return true, close, and say move to the next pixel in the row, so position in b plus equals step x, and then under that we'll say y position in B plus equals step y. And then we can say return false. And it closes. Perfect. Just do random equals new random. That should work now because it will set to random. There we go. Now they're spawning. Now I haven't really actually set it to the actual size of the screen. What I plan on to do next is create a camera for the car, and then you'll be able to explore a huge open world. And wherever your screen is, then you'll be able to collect all of the power-ups, which will make you go faster and stuff. The collision isn't working, so I'm probably going to do a whole episode on collision, and we'll refine that code. But if you did enjoy, please drop a like. I hope you all learned something, and we'll stick around for the next tutorial. So thank you all for watching, and have a nice day.